Did you ever notice how some books or videos, like this one, just seem to show up at the right time? Not when you're trying to find them, but when your soul needs their wisdom the most. Send this message to the first person that comes to mind as soon as it starts. To share a video is not the same as sending a quantum signal. To send a quantum signal is to build an energetic bridge to another soul whose frequency is ready for this activation and to boost the energy of this collective awakening. There's no chance in this. It's a basic truth about the world. Thoth, the ancient guardian of wisdom, saw this as both philosophy and a form of quantum physics. His most powerful teachings are meant to work like a cosmic library. The information is locked away and almost invisible until your consciousness reaches the exact frequency needed to safely unlock it. Take a look. Your quantum signature, which is the unique energy of your being, has just reached a new level, which is why you are here watching this. This video didn't show up by accident. The observer in your mind has collapsed the wave function of all possibilities to bring you this specific information. The mysterious force we talked about led Jessica, the merchant, to a market where items could only be seen and bought when Jessica's consciousness was in sync with her true needs, not just her wants. There was a state of quantum superposition where the things were always there, but only she could make them real. A lot of people try to wake up by quickly consuming information, but the only way to really make progress is to be ready. You are finally ready because this video found you. Make sure you're subscribed before we go any further. It's more than just clicking subscribe. It's your promise to keep getting this frequency. It sets up a stable quantum connection that makes sure your system keeps getting these coherence improvements. Everybody makes the same mistake when they first find Thoth's writings, that they would teach her how to get things, like how to make gold, silks, and a bigger business appear. She thought she knew everything about reality until she found out what she did. The teachings of Thoth show us something that modern culture gets wrong. So we're taught that consciousness is made in the brain and is just a flash of electricity in the head. Thoth knew the opposite was true. The quantum field is made up of consciousness at its core. Everything else comes from this one thing. Matter, energy, time, and space are all just different ways that this one consciousness shows itself. This isn't just old philosophy. It's the deepest truth you know about yourself. There is a world outside of your consciousness that you have never, ever seen. Every sound, sight, and emotion happens in the present moment. Jessica had a big realization when she stopped trying to change the world with her mind and saw that the world was already a perfect copy of her mind. This is what it means to say, as above, so below. The holographic principle of the quantum world is this. Your outside world shows what's going on inside you. This is the part where most attempts to manifest fail. People try to make plenty happen when they are actually vibrating at the frequency of lack. They picture love even though they don't think they deserve it. By yelling at the mirror, they are trying to change how they look. On the other hand, the mirror can only show you what's in front of it. If you want to change what you see in the outside world, you must first become a conscious observer whose vibration matches that world. A Roman scholar really wanted to show that he had political power. He did the rituals and said the words, and he found pieces of Thoth's writings. There was no action. His work was just static electricity, which is a type of electromagnetic resistance. He lost everything years later and then found the same text again. This time, he wasn't after power. It was his goal to understand himself. The text told him something, and his life changed without any trouble. It didn't change. It was his frequency. getting something was no longer his goal. By aligning with the unified field of consciousness, he let what was already there in the quantum field find him. Say it out loud in the comments if these words hit you deep down. My awareness is the creator of my world. This is what we want to say to the quantum field. There is a conscious act of stepping out of reaction when you type these words. You are now a conscious observer who chooses which reality to experience. I want to tell you about Brandon, a blacksmith who found something very important. He bent red-hot metal into shapes for years by hammering it until it gave in. His work worked, but it didn't have any life to it. Then he had an idea one day while watching molten metal flow naturally into a mold. He was up against the metal. The metal wanted to flow into the best shape it could take. It was enough for him to set things up and then leave them alone. Brandon found the law of spiritual readiness, which was something that Thoth called it. And once you know this, you'll understand why so much modern searching is pointless. Being conscious cannot be forced to become more aware. Any attempt to speed up your spiritual growth makes you fight it from the inside out. It's like pulling the petals of a flower open to make it bloom, and you hurt the very thing you want to grow. Thoth knew that people who try to skip the normal stages of growth end up collecting spiritual experiences like medals, but their heart stays the same. You are dimensional bypassing when you try to get to a higher quantum reality before your system is ready for it. His research showed that this system upgrade, or natural rewiring of your mind, happens in 4 stages. The first step is the breaking down of ego attachments. This isn't meant to hurt your pride. It's the slow, gentle realization that your job, your past, or your accomplishments don't make you who you are. The second thing is the growth of real humility. Not the false kind, but the kind that comes from knowing in your cells that the quantum field of consciousness is much bigger and stranger than your mind can understand. Third is the practice of being still inside. It's not about quieting your mind. Learning to rest in the 0-point field means becoming aware of the still, empty space that holds all your thoughts and feelings. The fourth stage is being able to receive without holding on to something. It is very important. It means being able to have an insight or a beautiful experience without letting your ego grab it and say, "This is mine. What am I supposed to do with this?" Thoth knew that the timing of each soul is different and set by God. You can't rush this timing without creating a spiritual imbalance, which is like putting a huge current through a small wire. There is a short circuit in your nervous system. So, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. It's not possible to fake being ready. It's a real stage of development. That means your electromagnetic field is stable enough to handle the next level of data. If you really feel ready, write this in the comments. I am ready for my next level. This sentence should serve as a quantum anchor for your nervous system. You're telling the universe yes by sending this signal, which means your whole being is ready to safely download and integrate this new frequency. Press the like button now. Feel this action as a powerful way to thank your body for being ready. This readiness frequency is anchored into your field when you like this video. This makes it easier for you to handle this powerful upgrade. A master blacksmith named Kenty found something new in his temple workshop. He thought power came from force for a long time, but his sharpest blades kept breaking. He put down his hammer one day because he was tired of beating the metal. He did nothing but watch. He saw that the metal wanted to move. What he made was stronger than anything else he had ever made because he worked with the metal's nature. The most surprising thing Thoth taught is shown in this story. Being in charge doesn't give you real power. Quantum alignment and surrender do. Before you think this is a sign of weakness, know that this is the most advanced form of power there is. Think about when you really want to remember a name but can't. The more you try, the faster it runs away. As soon as you stop, look away, and let go, the name comes to mind. Thoth knew this on a very deep level. The crazy ways your ego tries to control reality actually make the electromagnetic chaos that stops you from getting what you want. You can't use force to get the frequency you want. It shows up on its own when you stop making static and let the intelligence of the universe flow. This is the reason why Thoth's teachings were kept secret. They show that most of our pain comes from one thing: refusing to accept what is. He talked about 4 different kinds of surrender, or what I call quantum allowing. The first is giving up on results. That doesn't mean you don't want things. It means you believe the quantum field will figure out how to do it, which could be much better than your mind can imagine. The second step is to let go of your attachment to timing. If you keep digging it up to see how it's doing, it won't grow faster. It seems like nothing is happening during the quantum soup phase before the most powerful manifestations or quantum jumps can happen. Third is letting go of your attachment to methods. Your ego has a 10-step plan. This makes it hard to see. It keeps you from seeing the many other ways the quantum field could get you what you need. The fourth and most important is letting go of your attachment to identity. You have to let go of the 3D character you think you are in order to make room for the limitless quantum self you really are. This isn't being passive. The most powerful thing you can do is this. It lines up your will with the will of the universe. You discover how to swim with the flow of the water instead of against it. This is inspired action, which means that the movement comes from a place of wisdom rather than desperation. In the comments, say, "I let my good find me," to let go of your resistance if you feel this to be true. This is not just words. It's a message to your energy field. It means putting down the hammer, ending the battle, and becoming a clear, logical match for the solutions that are already in the quantum field and waiting for you. If that made you feel good, click like. This action is a physical way to keep yourself from resisting. Through your electromagnetic field, it sends a signal of allowing that gets rid of static and makes you a magnet for what you want. You know how sometimes you look for something that's been right there the whole time? Michelle, who is an astronomer, went through this. A lot of people were obsessed with finding what old books called the prophesied star. She worked hard at her telescope all night, making maps, doing math, and trying to see it. Nothing. After months of working on letting go, she looked up at the same part of sky one night. It was right there. Great idea. Without a doubt. But this is what scared her. When she tried to show them by pointing to the exact coordinates, all they saw was empty space. There was the star. It was a reality with more dimensions. A quantum potential. It could only be seen by people who had what Thoth called inner sight. This is one of Thoth's most important lessons. What you see with your eyes is effects or collapsed reality that has already happened. Your inner sight, or quantum perception, shows you the causal realm. You can see the quantum field of possibilities before they fall apart. Consider your own life. It takes a lot of work to change the pictures on the movie screen. Thoth taught that this has no point. You need to go to the projector, which is your own mind. This inner sight isn't about getting psychic for selfish reasons. Understanding is what true quantum awareness is all about. It shows what needs to be fixed. Getting better at this sight means putting away your 3D analytical mind. He taught things like contemplative gazing. You give a flower, a stone, or a flame your full, soft attention. You don't want to see anything. You are just making it possible for your perception to change. You are taking information from the quantum field's deeper layers and decohering them. Things start to make sense. You see a disagreement with a coworker as a quantum blueprint for healing an old wound, because you can see deeply. You think that a problem with money is your soul's way of teaching you how to trust. You stop reacting to other people's 3D avatars and start seeing their souls. This is what "as above, so below" means in real life. The holographic and quantum nature of reality is what you are seeing. Click like when you're ready to open your inner sight. This click shows a goal. Invoking quantum perception, which lets you see the real causal realm. It tells your consciousness that you want to see beyond 3D. Rachel, who was a weaver, made patterns in her tapestries for years. The threads were getting tangled up, and her work was a mess. The strangest patterns started to show up as soon as she let go, and let each thread find its place in its own time. Patterns that showed her hints of connections she wasn't even aware she had. Thoth knew this very well. The universe works with natural rhythms and perfect timing. Also, time isn't always a straight line. There are cycles and flows in this dimension, which is more like block time, where all moments happen at the same time. The world we live in now loves speed. It sees patience as a sign of weakness. Not only does this fast pace make us stressed, it also cuts us off from the quantum waveforms that control everything in the universe. Thoth taught that everything has its own season, a time for making plans to plant, a time to care for them, a time to gather crops, and a break to integrate the frequency upgrade. There are these rhythms at every level. There are daily cycles. Theta brainwave states right after you wake up are a quantum window for hearing your intuition. The moon and electromagnetic fields have an effect on your emotional and intuitive receiver. There are also huge rhythms in the universe, which is why this old knowledge is re-emerging now. The frequency at which the collective consciousness is ready to receive it is being reached. Trying to speed up this process can lead to what we could call dimensional dissonance. The quantum field gets tense when you push too hard and too fast. This stress needs to be taken care of, which is usually done by having a system breakdown that makes you slow down, which is where the phrase effortless achievement comes from. You shouldn't do nothing. You have to learn to tell the difference between making an effort, which feels like resistance, and acting on inspiration, which feels like coherence and flow. Trust the process, even if it seems like nothing is going on. The quantum incubation period lasts for that long. The seed grows when it is dark. There is quantum soup around the butterfly in the cocoon. The Book of Thoth will show up when you're ready, because being ready is part of the cosmic rhythm. You can't make it happen. You can align with it, though. When you do that, you stop going against the flow and start riding the waves of energy from space. If you're ready to stop going against the flow, say in the comments, "I flow with cosmic timing." This affirmation can be the way you tune your own frequency. You are moving away from the noise of hurry and force and toward the clear, powerful beat of the universe, where everything happens at the right time. Daniel Hayes believed he knew what power was. He went to the temple tests ready to show what he could do. He imagined, willed, and forced it to happen. And he failed big time. The barrier fell down after his third try, when he was worn out, ashamed, and had nothing left to prove. Daniel had just come across the most basic paradox. The self that wants spiritual power is the main thing that stands in the way of it. Thoth said that the ego is not a foe. I call it a three-dimensional avatar. This operating system is a complex psychological tool made to help you get around in this particular dense reality. There's nothing wrong with having an ego. It's because you forgot that you are not your ego, the quantum player. You're lost in the 3D character. This mistake leads to what Thoth called the great inversion. The avatar takes over. What does this mean for me? Is what every spiritual thought goes through. Thoth made a map of the steps of decohering from this avatar. The first is acknowledgement, observing the ego's patterns without judging them. This is how you build your witness consciousness. The second one is non-identification, being aware that your thoughts and feelings are not you. Weather of your feelings happens in quantum space that is you. Third is giving up the need to be perfect or right, a big frequency lock that keeps the ego in charge. Natural emergence is the last stage. Your quantum self starts to show itself through the avatar, but it doesn't hold you back. Thoth didn't teach ego destruction. He taught ego transparency. It's clear what the difference is. When spirituality is driven by ego, it feels competitive and hard work.